Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today we'll be discussing about who is God. Before we discuss about who is God and definition of God, we'll have a small recap of what we had done yesterday. Yesterday we discussed about how atheism and theism, they are two concepts which have divided the world. Atheism means those who say asti or nasti, or one who says that God doesn't exist. Or in other words, they say, okay, even God exists, we don't bother about him. Another concept is theism. Say, yes, he is there. Astika and Nastika. We started our discussion with a small example of what is happening in the Astika Samaja and Nastika Samaja. These two terms, though, are being spoken vividly, but the time comes, the camps change. When some difficulty comes, the Nastikas becomes Astikas. Oh God, oh Jesus. When difficulties come, oh God, what you have done? He never bothered about God for past so many years, but something bad happens in his life. He says, oh God. You never bothered about him in the good times. When bad time comes, you say, oh God. So this is one kind of concept, that somebody who is having some pressure or some important thing happens, he all thinks, oh God, please do good, please bless. Yesterday one person came to me. A family came, but his son was a young boy, a teenage boy. Then he's appearing for some exams. Then I was talking to him. Then he told me, I'm an atheist. But when he was leaving, he paid obeisances to me, pranams to me. And then he told, Swamiji, please bless me. Please pray to God. I told, just now you told God is not there. You're atheist. Then he started laughing because he's attending some serious, important examination. So he wanted blessings of God. And he says, I'm an atheist. So when blessings are required, all of a sudden, the sadhus, the God, all of them come into picture. But when you talk about worshipping God, yeah, I know God. So like my friend, yesterday I told about my friend. We were atheists in the childhood. And I wanted to convince him about God. At the time, when we were opening a factory, he was doing all the pujas, all the havans, so that his factory will be very nicely going on. So what does it mean? Though he's atheist, he's afraid that nothing should happen wrong, nothing wrong should happen. So let God be happy. On the other hand, you have theistic people, those who say we are astikas, God is there. God is there, let him be there wherever he is. We will do our own work. Everybody is in the temple. The Astika Samaja means that the society of theistic people. They have done a big yajna, they have done a big homa, but they are talking everything except God in the temple. The poor Balaji is standing and then saying, oh, they're all saying I exist, but nobody is bothered about me. So what is the use of that theism or being Astika who just say, I believe in God, or he's there, let him be there wherever he is, but I'm not bothered about him. Then we went to the next point of how the recent developments of past few centuries of development of atheism is because of science. Why in the Western world there is a shift of faith from religion to science, because the science was able to answer some natural questions, or the rationale of the human was satisfied, because you're explaining the natural phenomena of this world in a more rational way than the religion could do. But that doesn't mean in the religion of the East, that is in the Sanatana Dharma, there are no logical answers and scientific answers to the questions which are raised by looking at the nature, the natural phenomena. They are more scientifically explained than the modern science. The modern science is only a fairy tale in front of the Vedic science. That was not known to the Western world. That is why there was a shift of faith from religion to science. They said that if you're sentimental, go to religion. If you're intelligent and if you want to know the truth, that is there in the science. But when we see the Vedic literature, they scientifically explain not only the natural phenomena, it also give logical proof of the existence of God. Yesterday, we discussed about 5 proofs of the existence of God. Number 1, in this world, everything is controlled. Everything is working according to a particular controlled mechanism. So if there is a controlled mechanism, there is a control behind it. Everything is working according to certain laws. If there's a law of laws of motion and laws of thermodynamics, all these laws are created by God. So there's a lawmaker behind it. Though you may say Newton's laws of motion, the Newton's laws of motion were existing even before Newton was born. Newton's father and grandfather were born. That means these laws were not created by Newton. Just because you discover something, that doesn't mean they are your laws. They're laws of God. And then we discussed about how in this world, everything is having a perfect design. If there's a design, then there's a designer behind it. If there's a law, there's a lawmaker behind it. If there's an organization, there's an organizer behind it. If there is a creation, there's a creator behind it. No creation happens without a creator. No creation happens whimsically, automatically. Like you go to your kitchen, automatically you don't find chapati, sabji, dal and all. It doesn't come automatically. Somebody has made it. Even a chapati requires a creator. They want to speak of this world. And no creation happens by a bang. This Big Bang theory is a bit bogus theory. Has no local standing in even simple logic. That no creation ever has happened in our human experience, that it has happened by a blast. Only destruction has happened by a blast. So creation, attributing creation to a bang or a blast is illogical. Even there are so many technical fallacies in the Big Bang theory because they start assuming that there is a situation called singularity, which is having zero volume, maximum density, or infinite density, infinite mass, and zero volume, and infinite temperature. What is the situation? It's a mathematically impossible situation. The real world cannot come out of a mathematically impossible situation. Anyhow, going further, somebody may say that if God is there, why I cannot see him? We cannot see him because he is there underlying behind this world. We cannot see the thread which is there behind his beads, neck beads, tulasi mala. Or in the same way, we cannot see the pearl necklace or the thread underlying the pearl necklace. But the very nice arrangement of the pearl necklace itself is a proof that there is a thread behind it. Sutre Manigananiva, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sutre, I am the thread underlying this world, holding entire world together. Sutre Manigananiva. Then he goes further. Somebody may ask a question that if God is there, there should be only one God. Why there are so many gods? All the religions, they say one God. Then why there are different religions? Because of different audience. But ultimately, this Sanatana Dharma is the topmost because it is eternal. It is not meant for certain kind of people only. It is meant for everyone and in every place, in all times to come. That is why Sanatana Dharma was existing in all parts of the world. Throughout the world, Sanatana Dharma was existing. You go to Africa, you go to South America, you go anywhere, Europe, everywhere, once upon a time, around, say, minimum to minimum, if you can say that till the past, say, 3,000 years, 3 to 3,500 years, Sanatana Dharma was existing throughout the planet. So that was the, of course, there are so many proofs regarding it. We will not talk about it now. So Sanatana Dharma is the only dharma, and all other dharmas, they are being created for a particular purpose, for a particular time, and particular period of time, for a particular audience, and particular circumstance. So Sanatana Dharma also talks about one God. People say that Sanatana Dharma talks about many gods. No, Ekam Sat, Ekameva Dvitiyam Brahma. That Brahman is Advitiya, There's nobody second to it. Anyway, we'll talk more about it today. So somebody may ask, okay, if God is there, let him be there. Why are you troubling me? Yes, I'm troubling you because there's only one thing, that one thing which only God can give. Nobody else can give you that. And that one thing is so important, it is synonymous to life. That is called love. Nobody can live without love because life and love are together. It is love for which we have to accept God in our life. Not because out of fear, not out of some expectation, not out of duty. Even though you are not afraid of God, you go on doing sinful activities, still He'll give you food, He'll give you air, etc. Even if you don't ask God, He has given so many things. You don't have to ask Him for something because it is going to come according to your karma. And He makes sure that whatever is required for your living is always there with you. Even though you're an atheist and you don't have to accept God out of expectation. So those who accept God, the religions which accept God out of fear, they are coming from mode of ignorance, tamoguna. The religions which actually manifest out of accepting God for the sake of some material benefits, I want to ask God, oh God, give my daily bread. They are all coming out of spring out of passion. And those who are thinking, just do my duty, I just want to do my duty, that's all. One agarbatti and one flower in the morning, and one agarbatti and one flower in the evening, my duty towards God is over. So these three kinds of approaches of accepting God is not required. There's only one purpose for which we have to accept God in our life, that is to get that love, which our hearts are longing for love. The only person who can fill our hearts, which is longing for love, is God. Because loving is the nature of the soul. It is the dharma of the soul. To love and serve is the nature of the soul. Nobody can live without loving and serving someone. First, a baby is born, loves mother. Nobody taught him how to love mother, but loves. Did anyone teach a baby love the mother? No. Why? Because it is the nature of the soul. In the most cruel animals also, you have this loving tendency. So, but the problem is, the object of love changes. Mother to father, father to friends, friends to girlfriends, girlfriend to wife, wife to children. In this way, the object of love changes. Just see in this world, people, they give their parents who have fed them just because they fell in love with each other. A young girl falls in love with a young boy, and both of them run away from the house and then get married. Court marriage. There are 8 kinds of marriages in Vedic literatures. And Vyasa could not dream out of what is this marriage called a court marriage. Anyhow, so after a few months, there's divorce. What happened to them? Why is it so? They loved each other so much that they gave up their own parents for the sake of the boy or the girl. And why they're getting divorced? What is the reason? The reason is the nature of this world is object of love changes. Ultimately, everybody is searching for God. And when they love someone and they think this person is God, and later on they'll come to know, oh, Ray, I did a mistake. So then they divorce. Then they find somebody else, oh, this person is God because he's going to give me happiness. Then later on they find, no, change. So loving is the nature of the soul, but the object of love goes on changing. And what is the reason behind it? Because there's only one person who can fill our hearts, which is longing for love, and that person is God. So that is the reason that is the only reason for which we have to accept God in our life. There's no other reason. All the other reasons are nothing but the secondary reasons for accepting God and the temporary reason. And yesterday we conclude our class saying that this is called Sanatana Dharma. Dharma is to love and serve, and Sanatana Dharma means to love and serve God. Now, if you want to love and serve God, then the natural question is whom should we love? Who is that God? I want to know about him. So today we'll talk about who is God. And before we know who is God, let us define, let us understand the definition of God. In English, there is a saying, or this God, God, has been defined as G for generator, O for operator, and D for destroyer. Very nicely, aptly done, because the Taittiriya Upanishad, it defines God like this. Whenever Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya for this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, he was asked about the definition of God, he chanted this mantra from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yet pralim abhishamshanti tad brahma tad vijijnasasvat. So this mantra from the Taittiriya Upanishad says that yato va imani bhutani jayante, from whom everything manifests, jayante, from whom everything comes. And yato imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti, after being manifest, after being born or being created, they are maintained by him, by whom everything is maintained. Jatani jivanti. And ultimately, yet prayantabisham vishanti. After destruction of this world, everything into whom everything enters into, that person is God. Tad Brahma, that is Brahman. Tad Vijijnasa Swat, inquire into him. Tato Brahma Jigyasa, inquire into that Brahman from whom everything comes, from Janmadhyasyataha, from whom everything comes, Adi, from whom, by whom creation, maintenance, and destruction, these three things happen. So that is the definition of God. In other sense, if you go and ask somebody, who is your father? He'll say, he's my father. Who is his father? He's go on asking, who is father? His father, his father. There is one father from whom everybody comes from. There is a source for everything. The ultimate source, that source is called God by definition. That is why in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma also says, Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadirajara Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The person who is a source for everything, he is called Sarva Karana Karanam. And that is a preliminary definition of God. But there some people argue, no, there is no source for everything, anything. It is all just automatic. But it's not true. Like there was one person who wrote one book about the origin of this world, origin of things in this world. So he wrote a big book, thesis, and ultimately concluded that if life, especially life, he was talking about origin of life, and he concluded that life came to this planet from another planet. He was given a Nobel Prize for it. Okay, nice. So you got, you have a question. Another question somebody asked that, where did life come from to that planet? Then he writes another book. He writes another book and then says that life came to that planet from another planet. It just cannot go ad infinitum like that. There should be a source for everything. We find in this world also we have source for everything. So this world also has its source. Life has its source. What is the source? The source is God. Janmadhyasyataha. From this is the second aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra, second sutra. First is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Inquire into Brahman. And what is that Brahman? Who is that God? Janmadhyasyataha. God is from whom everything emanates, and from whom everything is maintained, into whom everything enters into. Then where we should inquire from? Shastra Yonitvat. Inquire into scriptures. Don't inquire into your mental speculation. Inquire into scriptures. Shastra Yonitvat. Then why we should inquire into Shastras? Because Shuteshtu Shabdha Mulatvat. So these are the series of the Vedanta Sutras. They explain very logically about the entire creation, God and His world, three things: the world, which you are living in, we, the living entities, the souls, and God. These three subject matters constitute knowledge, and that is very nicely explained in the Vedanta Sutras, very logically and very systematically, very scientifically. So now, going further, this is a preliminary definition of God. That is, from whom everything comes from. But let us go further and then see the final definition of God. That is, some people have this understanding that God is great. Yes, God is definitely great. But that the greatness of God doesn't mean that He's not a person. He is a person. God is a person. Generally, when we talk of God, everybody thinks, yes, some power is there. Some power is there. Like a few days back, some post was there in our group saying that yes, God is some power is there, some power. Anybody can call him by any name. Let us have a proper understanding of this thing. God is not just some power; He is powerful. There is power, definitely, energy is everywhere, but behind that energy, there is energetic. Like you have electricity. Electricity is everywhere in the wire, but that behind that electricity, there is a generator. So some people say God is some power. Yes, He is not just power, He is powerful. From whom that power comes from, that energy comes from. So God is not just powerful, but His power. God is not just some power, He's powerful. Like for example, I have this smartphone. The smartphone I'm able to lift. Why am I able to lift this smartphone? Because I have the energy or the power. I'm using my energy to lift this smartphone. Definitely, the Lord, God, through His energies, does all these things. So God is not just some energy. He is energetic, from whom the energies manifest. Though some people, they think God is just some energy. And that is why they don't accept God as a form. Yes, God has a form. As much as you have a form, I have a form, God also has a form. Because everything comes from God. And this form is also created by God. So how is it possible that He can create something which He doesn't have? If God doesn't have form, how did He create these forms in this world? Yes, God has a form. God is not just an energy. Like electricity doesn't have a form, but the generator has a form. The same way the bulb has a form, the light doesn't have form. So the light is emanating from the bulb. The same way God, from whom the energies are emanating, and the energies don't have form, but God has form. Some people, when the scriptures say God has no form, it is actually referring to the energy of God. It is not referring to God Himself. Arupam, Nirgunam. So some people have this idea, some formless person. It's formless person. How can he have a person and be formless? Yes, I'll give you example. Like the Prime Minister of this country, he has a form, but his energies, he's all pervading, he's everywhere. That energy of the Prime Minister in the form of the government, that doesn't have a form. In the same way, the bulb has a form, but the energies or the light coming from the bulb, the heat coming from the bulb doesn't have a form. So when the scriptures or when people say that God is formless, God is some energy, they are talking about the all-pervading feature of the Supreme Lord. So now we are getting a little bit deeper into philosophy, but make it very simple. There are three concepts of God. Number one is everywhere. Number two, he's in everybody's heart. Number three, he's in the spiritual world, upar wala, as if he's not niche wala, baju wala, piche wala. So God is, generally, these are the three concepts. That is, he's all pervading, he's everywhere, he's in our heart, and he is in the spiritual world. So how all the three concepts be at the same time correct? If he's everywhere, how can he be only in the heart? If he's in the heart, how can he be in the spiritual world? If he's in the spiritual world, in the Goloka or Vaikunta, how is he in the heart? How is he everywhere? Very simple. Ekadesh sthitasyagnyir vistarni sarvato yatha aishwaryadrupamekam cha suryavat bhodiyate. So one nice example is given. The fire is at one place and the fire is emanating heat and light. The heat and light emanating from the fire, that is spread everywhere. But the fire is at one place. The same way, the fire has a form, but the heat and light doesn't have form. In the same way, the Supreme Lord is at one place in the spiritual world. He has got a beautiful form. And from him, energies emanate, which is all pervading. And that all pervading feature, the absolute truth, all pervading feature of God is known as Brahman. In the scriptures, the word Brahman has been used many times, especially in the Upanishads. And this Brahman is nothing but the all-pervading feature of the absolute truth. Like bulb and light. Light is everywhere, bulb is at one place. The Supreme Lord as Bhagavan is at one place and is all-pervading everywhere in the form of his energies. Like the bulb is making its presence felt everywhere in the form of heat and light. Fire is making its presence felt everywhere in the form of heat and light. In the same way, the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world, he is making his presence felt everywhere in the form of Brahman. The effulgence coming from the Lord is known as Brahman. It's all pervading feature. Now, the second aspect of the Supreme Lord is that he is in everybody's heart and he is known as Paramatma. When we say Paramatma, we are referring to the partial expansion of Bhagavan in everybody's heart, and that person is known as Paramatma. When we say God is in everybody's heart, we are referring to Paramatma. Remember, when we say God is everywhere, we are referring to Brahman. When we say God is in everybody's heart, we are referring to Paramatma. And when we say God is in the spiritual world, we are referring to Bhagavan. All three are one, but it is depending on the realization of a person. We categorize Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. We ascribe these names, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Earlier, we have steam locomotives, locomotive engines or steam engines, railway engine steam. If you see a train from far, old time, you could only find smoke. But when a train comes nearby, you can see there's some form, there's some like a snake, some line. When it comes on the station, then when it comes to the station, then you know that it has got so many compartments and so many different things, with varieties there. So this is how we understand Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. When you see train from far, when you see God from far, you think he's formless or is some all-pervading feature. Energy, you're only perceiving some energy. Like you perceive only smoke of the train. When the train comes closer, that means when you approach the Supreme Lord much closer, when you perceive the God from much closer, you find him, you realize him is Paramatma, is there in everybody's heart. And when the train comes in front of you, then you can see all the variety. Then you can see the form of the Lord and all the emotions which he has got towards his devotees. That is called Bhagavan. So Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Brahman means God's existence everywhere. Paramatma means God in everybody's heart. And Bhagavan is the Lord in the spiritual. Now, in Vaikuntha. Now, the all-pervading feature of the Supreme Lord called Brahman is dependent on Bhagavan. Here, a Paramatma feature is also dependent on Bhagavan. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahmanoi pratishtaham amritasya cha avyasya cha shashvatasya dharmasya sukasya ekantikasya cha. Krishna says that Brahmanoi pratishtaham. I am the person on whom the whole Brahman is situated on. Because all-pervading feature of the Lord is actually dependent on Bhagavan. And then Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha, sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. I am in everybody's heart as Paramatma. So the Paramatma feature is also dependent on Bhagavan. The Brahman feature is also dependent on Bhagavan. That means the all-pervading feature, the formless feature called Brahman, that is also dependent on Bhagavan. And the feature of the Lord called Paramatma, that is also dependent on Bhagavan. To have a better understanding, I'll give you another example. That is sun. The sun is everywhere in the form of sunshine. The same way God is everywhere in the form of Brahman. And sun is reflected into hundreds and thousands of pots of water you keep on the ground. And the sun is reflected in each and every pot. So each and every pot of water contains the reflection of the sun. That doesn't mean the sun has divided. No, the sun has not divided. It is one sun reflected into millions of pots of water. The same way that one Supreme Lord is there in everybody's heart as Super Soul. That one Supreme Lord is everywhere in the form of Brahman. Like the one sun is everywhere in the form of sunshine. The one sun is reflected into every pot of water as its reflection, and that is called Paramatma. Lord Bhagavan reflected in everybody's heart. He is known as Paramatma. God who is manifesting his energies and pervading throughout. And that God is known as all pervading features of Supreme Lord is known as Brahman. So now we have Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. The most important feature of the Lord is Bhagavan. Now let us try to understand the definition of the word Bhagavan. How we define the word Bhagavan. It is very simple. Bhaga means Bhagya. We have Bhagya. So what is it Bhagya? Bhaga means Bhagya. What are the Bhagyas? There are 6 Bhagyas or 6 fortune. A person feels very fortunate when he has these 6 things. That is Aishwarya. When somebody gets lot of riches, he becomes very rich, lot of wealth, then he considers himself to be Bhagyavan. So one Bhagya is Aishwarya, that is riches, wealth. Shriyaha, beauty. And then you have Yashaha, that is fame. Somebody becomes very famous, other feel, he's so famous, he's very fortunate to be very famous. And knowledge, Jnanam. And then we have strength, that is Bala. And then ultimately renunciation or Vairagya. So the 6 features constitutes Bhagya. Now, how do you define the word Bhagavan? The word Bhagavan has been defined like this. Anybody who has got these 6 opulences or 6 qualities in full to such an extent, nobody is equal to him in these 6 qualities. Nobody is superior to him. Or in other words, nobody is equal to him in beauty. Nobody is as beautiful as him, and nobody is more beautiful than him. Nobody is as wealthy as him, and nobody is more wealthier than him. Nobody is as famous as him, and nobody is more famous than him. Nobody is as strong as him, and nobody is more stronger than him. Nobody is as renounced as him, and nobody is more renounced than him. Natat samastya vyadikashchata drishyate. Nobody is equal to natat samaha. Na adikaha drishyate. You don't find anybody else who is equal to him and above him. That is why one of the names of God is that is asamordhva, asamaha. Nobody is equal to him, nobody is above him. So this is how the word Bhagavan has been defined. Whoever has got these 6 qualities in full to such an extent, nobody can be equal to him, nobody is above him. Only that person can be called God. All the 6 should be there. Nobody can claim to be God just because somebody is beautiful. Can you claim, I have all riches? No. Even though somebody may claim all the riches I have, he may not have beauty. We all are hankering that we also want to get these riches, these 6 qualities. But these 6 qualities which we are aspiring for, we may get certain percentages of them. And that we have these 6 qualities with us because God has them in full. And because of these having these 6 qualities, he is a person. How can you say God is a person? Some people say, God is not person, he's impersonal. No, God is a person. As much as you are a person, as much as I am a person, God is also a person. How can you say so? Because he has qualities. A person is recognized by personality, and a personality is made up of qualities. So qualities make up a personality, and the personality makes up a person. So if God has qualities, that means he has a personality. If he has a personality, then he is a person. God is a person. As much as you are a person, I am a person, God is a person. Whom you can talk to, whom you can dance with, whom you can play with. Like we have these children. They have this tendency. What is the tendency? That is to go to somebody's house and steal the mangoes and then run away when they are about to be caught. Now tell me, where is this emotion coming from? This emotion is originally coming from God. There, I still remember in my childhood, we were having many mango trees in our house. But still, as children, we used to go to somebody's house There's a many mangoes trees. The old lady used to stay, and we used to throw stones and then get those mangoes. The stolen mangoes are more sweeter than your own mangoes. Uh, that is why, where is emotion coming from? Where did these children, this kind of emotion came from? Because originally in God, everything comes from God. God is an emotional person. Person means emotions. We have emotions. That is why we are called persons. Person means emotions. So if you have emotions, God also has emotions. So he's a person. But the emotions of God are perfect. In our emotions, they are not perfect. They are giving miseries to us. But God is one who is a person, is a personality, is full of emotions. As much as we desire to eat something, God also desires to eat something. Why not? The very fact that we have a desire to eat because it is there originally present in God. God has a desire to talk to few people and to have friends. Yes, he has a desire. Why? Because the very desire what we have to have some friends, it is there because originally God has this desire. That is why we have this desire. So God is a person whom you can talk to, you can love with, you can dance with, you can play with. Just because God is great, that doesn't mean he is not a person. Many times people think that God is great. Why God is great? Oh, he's very powerful. Yes, God is great. He's very powerful. But that doesn't disqualify him to be a person. Sometimes it so happens when we see a very great personality, we develop a kind of a distance from him. We don't treat him like a person because of our emotions are limited. No, just because somebody is a great personality, that doesn't mean he is not a person. God is a person. He is there in the spiritual world and he is having a form. He is a person. Now let us go again back to the topic of definition of God. So as you are defined, definition of God means at the three levels, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. The all-pervading feature of the Lord is known as Brahman, and the localized aspect in everybody's heart is Paramatma, and God in the spiritual world is known as Bhagavan. And the ultimate definition of the word God is understood only when we understand what is Bhagavan. And this word Bhagavan means one who's got the six opulences in full, that is beauty, strength, fame, knowledge, wealth and riches and renunciation. So anybody has got these six qualities in full is called Bhagavan. Now let us see what we do with these six qualities. These six qualities, whatever we have, what we also have in this world to some extent. With these qualities, we attract. Anybody is very beautiful, he becomes, or he or she becomes attractive. Somebody is very wealthy, they also become attractive. Somebody is very famous, they become very attractive. And somebody who's very renounced, they also become very attractive. So these qualities inherently has a quality to attract others. Wherever you find these six qualities, you are attracted. To the extent these qualities are present, to that extent the person becomes attractive. These days we try to get these qualities. Everybody wants to become beautiful. They do so much, go to the beauty parlor and then try to make themselves very beautiful. Okay, you may make yourself the most beautiful person, but you may not have knowledge. But God is one who has all these six qualities in full, and that is the reason he is all attractive. To the extent you have these qualities, to that extent you are attractive. If God has all the qualities in full, then he is all attractive. So by definition, Bhagavan means one who has six qualities in full, and these six qualities attract. And Bhagavan means one who is all attractive. So if Bhagavan means all attractive, I want to know one name, one shabda, one word in Sanskrit, which means all attractive. That one word in Sanskrit which actually means all attractive is Krishna. Karshayati. One who attracts is called Krishna. The word Krishna is actually meaning one who attracts. Krishir bhuvachaka shabdo, nascha nivritti vachakaha. Tayoraikyam Parabrahma Krishna ityabhidiyate. Tayoraikyam Parabrahma Krishna ityabhidiyate. This Krish and Na means, Krish means what? One who is all attractive. Na means one who gives all pleasure. One who attracts everyone and gives all pleasure. That person is known as Krishna. So Bhagavan is Krishna. All the scriptures, they're talking about Bhagavan Bhagavan has been defined as Krishna. The word Bhagavan is attributed to Krishna. Krishna and his expansions, like Rama, Narsimha, Vamana, all the expansions of Krishna, all the incarnations of Krishna, they are all Bhagavan. The word Bhagavan can only be attributed to them, to all the incarnations, all the expansions of Krishna. It is not that, oh, there is one power and we can call by any names. No, this is a wrong understanding. It is actually a foolish understanding. It is not that. There is a definition of God, and the scriptures define who is he, and he has got many names. Just because God has many names, that doesn't mean anybody can call him by any way. No. Within the many names of God, unlimited names of God, which are already defined in the scriptures, you can select any name. That is not a problem. But you say that God, some energy is there, you can just call him by any name. You can just follow any path. No. Then what is the value of the scriptures then? Why the Bhagavad Gita is there? Why the Vedas are there? If there is one God, he's some energy, you can call him by any way, you can do anything and be spiritual. No, how is it possible? That is why we should have the proper understanding of philosophy. That is, Bhagavan is defined as one who has 6 qualities in full. To such an extent, nobody is equal to him, nobody more than him. And with these qualities, we attract. To the extent we have these qualities, we become that much attractive. God has all these qualities in full, so he's all attractive. And all attractive means Krishna. So Bhagavan means all attractive means Krishna. That is why the Srimad Bhagavatam says, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. In the Bhagavad Gita also, it is being clearly described that Mattaha Paradaram Nanyat, there is nobody superior to me, Arjuna. Mai Sarvamidam Protam Sutre Manigananiva, everything manifests from me. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Mattas Sarvam Pravartate. So many verses in the Vedic literatures establish that Krishna is supreme person. All the scriptures are talking about Krishna being a supreme personality of God. The word Bhagavan, when Srila Prabhupada translated this word Bhagavan, he translated not as God. Very interesting. Bhagavan was not translated by Prabhupada, the founder of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, as God. He translated the word Bhagavan as supreme personality of Godhead. Till now, we discussed about how God is supreme, from whom everything comes from. He is supreme. Janmadhyasyataha yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat praliyam abhishamvishanti tad brahma tad jigyasasvat. So this shows that Bhagavan means he is supreme. And then we entered into the definition, the real definition of the word Bhagavan, and understood that he has got 6 qualities in full. So if he has got 6 qualities in full, that means he's all attractive. If he's all attractive, means he is a person, because qualities make up a personality, personality make up a person. If God has qualities, he has a personality, and if he has a personality, then he's a person. So the supreme person. And the third aspect is Godhead. Supreme definition of God has been discussed. Yato va imani bhutani jayanti, from whom everything comes from. And Bhagavan means one who's got 6 qualities in full. That is why he's a person, supreme personality of Godhead. Especially when we talk about the subject of God in India, and people get totally confused about it. They think, oh, you ISKCON people, you only talk Krishna as God. What about others? So for that, I'm going to ask you a simple question. The simple question is this. How many Devi Devatas are there? Devi Devata kitne hain? Naturally, everybody says 10 is koti. Of course, the word koti may refer to crores. It may refer to category. कौन सी कोटि का है means कौन सी category का है. Now, when you say Bhagavan, कितने भगवान है? The answer is very clear and everybody knows it also. When you say Devi Devata, when you say the demigods, naturally the answer is that they are 33 crore of them or 33 categories. Not one, there are many, unlimited rather in one sense. On the other side, you have Bhagavan. When you say Bhagavan, it is only one. Ekameva Dvitiyam Brahma. Ekam Satya Prabhuda Vadanti. Some people have this misunderstanding. Oh, this Vedanta Sutra says, Ekam Sat, there is one truth. Viprabodha Vadanti. Many Vipras, many Brahmanas, many learned people, they speak about him in different ways. That doesn't mean they talk about in different means, doesn't mean any way. You have a destination. It can be approached by many roads, but doesn't mean any road. Many roads doesn't mean any road. Many ways doesn't mean any way. There's a lot of difference between many ways and any way. In the same way, the one Supreme Lord has got many, many names. That doesn't mean any name. Anything you think about God, it is true. No, there is a proper definition, proper understanding of it. Now, Bhagavan is one, and there are many devatas, Devi devatas. We cannot talk about all the Devi devatas because they are 10 crore, or you may say 10 koti. We'll take a few prominent of them and then discuss for today. Now let us talk about Ganeshi, because Ganesha has to be discussed, worship first before you worship, start your worship. That is a system, the Vedic system. So let us talk about Ganesha. Who is this Ganesha? Ganesha is a devotee of Krishna. Say, hey, how is it so? Why are you telling like that? Yes, it is true. Because Lord Brahma, in the Brahma Samhita, he talks about Ganesha. Yatpada Pallava Yugam Viridhaya Kumbha Dvandve Pranama Samayesa Ganadiraja Vignan Vihantamalamasya Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in this words, Brahma says that Ganesha is keeping his head at the feet of Lord Krishna and getting all his strength to remove all the obstacles in the path of people's material progress. Now, we know how Ganesha is a devotee of Krishna because he showed his eagerness. He is known as Ekadanta. When Vyasa wanted to put all the Vedic literatures, especially Mahabharata, into written format, then he was thinking, I'm going to speak those verses, but I want a person who can write down, put it in written format. Then all the demigods came and told Vyasa, we have one very intelligent person, very sober with all good qualities. He will serve you. So then Ganesha was sent. Ganesha, he paid obeisances to Vyasa and told, I would like to serve you, give some service. So then Vyasa, he told that I want that you should write down. I'm dictating. Ganesha told, I'll do this service, but I have got one condition. I don't do anything without conditions. So the condition is you should go on speaking constantly. Even you should not stop even to take a breath in the middle. A pause also you should not give. You should constantly go on speaking, then I'm going constantly, I'll write. Vyasa told, fine, I'll go on speaking the Mahabharata and you go on writing it. I'll not even pause for a single moment. But I have one condition, Vyasa told me, Ganesha. So he said that you can only write whatever I dictate, only when you understood what I have spoken. Then Ganesha told, okay. Then Vyasa composed a verse and he was speaking. Then Ganesha took one split second to understand. Then only he can write. At that time, Vyasa, he continued his pause and then go further, pause and go further. In this way, the entire Mahabharata could be completed. Now, Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata. And who was the first person to write down the Mahabharata? Who was the first person to write down the Bhagavad Gita? It is Ganesha. So Ganesha wrote that Bhagavad Gita when Vyasa was dictating. It is for whom did he write? It is for us. If you don't read the Bhagavad Gita, do you think Ganesha will be happy? Ganapati Bappa, Moria, Moria, shouting, getting drunk and playing Bollywood songs. Do you think it is worship of Ganesh? Ganesh will be happy to us doing all this nonsense? No, Ganesh will not be happy. We say, oh, Ganapati Papa, take this modak. Then Ganapati Papa will say, have you read the Bhagavad Gita? I have written the Gita for you, and you are not read the Gita. How can I be happy? Do you think this modak will make me happy? No. If you really want to worship Ganesha, study the Bhagavad Gita. He'll be the most happiest person. Especially, I always say that during the Ganesh Utsav time, all Ganeshas will run away from everywhere because he doesn't want to see people drunk and dance in front of him the tunes of the Bollywood songs, which is full of lust, greed, and anger. Ganesha is a very exalted devotee of Krishna. He's not an ordinary devotee of Krishna. He's 24 hours playing Mridanga in Kailasha. Lord Shiva is dancing. Kartika is dancing and playing Kartal, and Mridanga is played by Ganesha. So he's such an exalted devotee. And how can you ridicule him by getting drunk and then doing something in all nonsense in front of him? He'll not be there. He is a great devotee. He is a great Vaishnava, Ganesha. He wants us to read the Bhagavad Gita. Now you go to your friend's party and you have written a nice, wonderful poetry. And then your friend says, oh, come, let us have a feast, let us drink and enjoy. Then you say, I've written some nice poetry. Forget about this poetry. Let us come and enjoy. You feel very bad. Ganesha has written a nice, wonderful song for us. That is the Bhagavad Gita. And if you reject it and then say, Ganesha, eat modak, let me also eat modak, let us drink and enjoy, Ganesha will be very unhappy with you. So, Ganesha is the devotee of Krishna who wants us. So actually, when he wrote the Mahabharata, he did not even go to find any pen. He just broke his own danta and he started writing the Mahabharata. He was so eager to write about Krishna. He was so eager to describe the pastimes of Krishna in the Mahabharata. He was so eager to pen down the Bhagavad Gita so that we all can get advantage. Now, we discussed something about Ganesha. We can discuss more about him. What is his tattva, how he got his form and all. That we'll not discuss. If somebody really wants to know, we can discuss in the question and answer session. Now let us take another personality, another demigod, and discuss about him. That is Lord Shiva. Who is Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva has been described by Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita. Kshiram yatadadi vikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahitra pratakasti heto yam shambhutam abhitatasam apeti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Lord Shiva is been described as one is almost Krishna but not Krishna. How? Like milk can be transformed into curd, but the curd cannot be transformed back into milk. It is very nature. You cannot transform curd back into milk. So when Lord Krishna, for the purpose of destruction of this world, he accepts direct association with the modes of nature, Parvati, then he transforms himself into Shambhu. Yam Shambhu Tamrita Samapeti Karyat. So the living entities cannot be compared to Lord Shiva. These are a different category. Neither Lord Shiva comes into the category of Lord Krishna. Krishna is transcendental. He is not in direct touch with the modes of nature. He is not direct touch with Prakriti. Whereas Lord Shiva is in direct touch with Prakriti, who is Durga. That is why Lord Shiva is a devotee of Krishna. In the Vishnu Sahasranama, very famous. Many South Indians know it by heart also. So there, Parvati, she asked Lord Shiva that, my dear Lord, please tell me, Atakkena upayena laguna. Please tell me a simple process by which I can progress in my spiritual life. Because you're chanting something very long called Vishnu Sahasranama. But I want something which is very simple. Then Lord Shiva, he says a very important, very wonderful shloka. He says, Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. My dear Parvati, oh Varanane, beautiful face Parvati, listen. 1,000 names of Vishnu is equal to one name of Ram. Just chant the name of Ram. Because Sri Rama Rama Rameti. Ram is called Ram because he gives pleasure to the mind. Manorame. Is spoken by whom? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, he has got a japamala in his hand. What does it mean? He's chanting. What is he chanting? He's chanting the Ram's name. He's chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. He's chanting his mantra. Lord Shiva is chanting his Ram's name. Now going further, Lord Shiva, he is constantly meditating on Krishna. You take any scripture, every scripture, there is input of Lord Shiva in glorifying Krishna. And that is why in the Srimad Bhagavatam, he's been described as Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Among all the Vaishnavas, the topmost Vaishnava is Shambhu. Shambhu is Lord Shiva. He's the topmost of all the Vaishnavas. So, though Lord Shiva is known as a destroyer, Brahma is a creator, and Brahma is a creator, and Lord Vishnu as a maintainer, ultimately, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, they receive their energies to maintain and create, or create and destroy from Lord Vishnu. Let us go further and see about Durga Devi. So what is she? Who is she? She is the personification of the material nature. She is the energy of Krishna. That is why Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita, he says, who is Durga? He gives the the identity of Durga. Who is Durga Devi? So Durga Devi is defined by Brahma as Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chayaiva Yasya Bhuvanani Vivarti Durga Ichana Rupam Yasya Tesha Tesa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhaja. So Durga, she is the Chayaiva Shakti. She is the shadow potency of Krishna. She is in charge of this material world, which is known as Durga. Why Durga is called Durga? Because this material world is called Durga. Why it is called Durga? Material world is called Durga because Durgama, very difficult to run away from, very difficult to attain moksha, very difficult to attain liberation. Get out of this world is very difficult. The place where it is difficult from which to run away from, jail, is also called Durga. A fort is also called Durga. Once the doors are closed, very difficult to get out of it. The same way this material world is called Durga. And Durga is called Durga because she is in charge of this material world, this jail superintendent. So we are all put in this world as prisoners. And Durga, she is actually taking care of all of us. Like a mother would take care of the children. Like the jail superintendent takes care of the inmates of the jail. In the same way, everybody in this world are taken care by Durga. And many names of Durga are there, out of which one name of Durga is Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi, Vaishnava Devi. Many of you must have gone there. Vaishnava Devi. What is the meaning of Vaishnavi? Means devotee of Vishnu. And the devotee of Vishnu would not like to eat meat. And cutting goat in front of Durga, she would not like it. They are taking goats, chicken, you name it, and then put in front of Durga and cut it. Blood is coming out. Do you think Durga will be happy about it? No. Do you think Durga ji will be happy in you killing your own brother or sister? All the living entities are actually the children of Durga Devi. She is our mother, and she would never like that you kill your own brother or sister. So this is a very important thing to be known, that Durga Devi, she is a Vaishnavi. Being a Vaishnavi, she is devotee of Vishnu. So this is about Durga. We can discuss more about her, but we don't have much time about it. If you have some questions regarding her, we can talk more about it. So every demigod or goddess, they're all devotees of Krishna. They're all chanting the names of Krishna. Now, after talking about Durga Devi, we'll talk about Surya, sun god, because Gayatri mantra addresses sun god. Let us see who is he. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita itself has told that sun god is my disciple. He tells to Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyam vasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bhavit. I spoke this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan, who is sun god. The person who is seeing the sun planet has a presiding deity. He is known as Vivaswan, and this Vivaswan is a student of Krishna. Not only is a student of Krishna, sun god. Sun god is the father of Krishna. Sons, two children are there, Yama and Yamuna. Yamuna, Kalindi, she's the wife of Krishna. So now in this way, he's also become the father-in-law in one sense. So son, regarding sun god, what does it Brahma say? In the Brahma Samhita, it says, every day the sun is rising and setting. Yachakshureshvita sakala granam Raja samasta suramurti rasesha teja yasyagnya brahmati samvrta kala chakro govindamaji purusham tamam bhajan. Yasyagnya. On the order of Krishna, the sun is rotating the wheel of time. Kala chakra is being rotated by sun god. So when sun god is rotating the wheel of time, every day he raises, every day he sets. Udyanastam channaso tasyarto ikshonita uttama shloka vartaya ayurharati vaipumshan. When the sun raises in the east and sets in the west, one day is gone. Ayur harati, stealing the ayu. Udyanastam channaso tasyarte kshanonita uttama shloka vartaya. Those whose mind is constantly engaged in uttama shloka varta are hearing about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. On him, the sun doesn't have the effect of time because he is a devotee of Krishna. So sun is actually a student of Krishna, a devotee of Krishna. And further, we talk about Brahma. Brahma, he talks about himself in Brahma Samhita. What does he say? Bhaswan yatashmasya kalesh nijeshu tejaha yasyagnya nijeshu tejaha. I don't have any nija teja. People think that I am shining. Bhaswan yatashmasya nijeshu kaleshu tejaha swiyam kiyat prakata yadyapi tadvadatra brahma yesha jagadanda vidana karta govindamaji purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda. Brahma himself is telling in every line in the Govinda Stotra. I worship Krishna, who is the actual source of my power to create. People think I'm creating, like a diamond is shining. People think, oh, nice diamond shining. But actually, the diamond is receiving light from the sun and then shining. The same Brahma says, I am shining in front of everyone as a creator, but actually, I'm getting the strength from Krishna to create. Brahma creates this world using the ingredients supplied by Krishna, and in the form of his Mahavishnu. In the form of Mahavishnu, he supplies the ingredients by which Brahma creates this world. Like a tailor creates the shirt using the cloth by the cloth company. The tailor cannot create the cloth. The Brahma is like the tailor, he uses the ingredients created by Supreme Lord, and he creates this world, or he makes this world using the ingredients created by Krishna. In this way, Brahma becomes a secondary creator. The primary creator is Lord Krishna. And Brahma himself is our Acharya in our Sampradaya. The ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, is actually representing the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. The original Acharya for the entire line of this section is Brahma. He is chanted so many glorifications of Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam. Wonderful, wonderful glorifications of Krishna. In the 10th canto, 14th chapter, Brahma's prayers are there. Anyhow, for now we should know, we discussed about his 5 demigods, who are, first one, which is Ganesha and Lord Shiva, Durga, Surya and Brahma. And when these powerful demigods, they themselves are servants of Krishna, they themselves are devotees of Krishna, then what to speak of others? Some people say, how can you say Brahma? How can you say Lord Shiva is servant of Krishna? He's lower. Actually, being servant of Krishna is the highest position anybody can attain. And Lord Shiva, he is more happy when you call him as servant of Krishna, when you call him as a devotee of Krishna, because that is what he's doing. That is what he's worshipping. Krishna is worshipable Lord. All the scriptures are talking about this thing. And there's nothing, actually he becomes very happy. Rather, those who go and tell, Lord Shiva, you're supreme, he's fed up with them. Actually, why people worship the demigods? The demigods know very well. These Devi Devatas know that these people have come to me for getting some material gain. That is the reason they have all come to me. They all know it. When Narsi Mehta, he worshipped Lord Shiva came in front of him. What do you want? Then I just want nothing. I just want your devotion. That's all. Then Lord Shiva told, this kind of thing is not going to apply to me. If you really want a pure, without motivation, devotion, you should do for Krishna. And that is how Narsi Mehta became a devotee of Krishna on the instruction of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva himself is chanting, and Ganesha is reading the Bhagavad Gita. Durga herself is Vaishnavi, and Brahma is telling Govinda Mahapurushan Tam Bhajami, and Surya himself is a disciple of Krishna. So many scriptures, practically every word is a scripture, beginning, middle, and the end. Adyecha, Madhyecha, Antyecha, Sarvatra Haryate. The glories of Krishna has been established. If at all you'll find, or many places, the glories of the demigods are described. That is only to prove the glory of the Supreme Lord. Aham Adiri Devanam. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the source of all the demigods. If the demigods themselves are so powerful, just imagine Krishna, who is the source of the demigod, how powerful he must be. All the demigods, they were in distress. They went to Brahma, and Brahma took everyone, and then went to Lord Krishna on the bank of Kshirosagar. There they worshipped Krishna, and Krishna appeared. So all the demigods, they are actually chanting the Purusha Sukta and worshipping the Supreme Lord Purusha, Parama Purusha, that is Krishna. So now some people may say that why should we worship demigods? Actually not required. We just had to worship Krishna. That doesn't mean you should disrespect the demigods. There's a very beautiful verse which says that Vishnureva Sadaradhya Sarva Deveshwareshwara Vitare Brahmarudraya Navignihe Katachana. Vishnureva Sadaradhya. Vishnu is the only worshipable Lord. And that doesn't mean Navignihe Katachana. You should not disrespect, rather you should respect the demigods. Worship is for Krishna, and respect is for all the demigods. Vishnureva Sadaradhya Sarvadeveshwara Itare Brahmarudya Navignihe Kadachana. So, if at all you are so used to worshipping Ganesha, go and worship Ganesha. Oh Ganesha, remove all the obstacles on my path of progress towards Krishna, progress in bhakti towards Krishna. If you want to worship Brahma, oh Brahma, please give me knowledge of scripture so that I can understand and meditate on Krishna. Oh Lord Shiva, you give me the meditation which you have for Krishna, constant meditation, Taila Dharayante, like when you take a glass of honey and then or oil, then pour. There is a stream which is very unwavering stream. Where is this kind of meditation? That kind of which you have for Krishna, give it to me. Actually, if somebody has got some material desires, then also one should approach Krishna. The demigods, they also satisfy material desires, but they don't see whether it is useful for you or not useful for you. Anyhow, the subject matter was today is Krishna is not only just supreme, he is a person. Just because Krishna is supreme, that doesn't disqualify him to be a person. He's not impersonal. He is a person. And he's not only person, he's supreme personality of Godhead. He is worshipped by all the demigods. Aham Adiri Devana. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the source of all the demigods. So in this way, we complete our session today, and we have 15 minutes more, so you can ask your questions. Please ask questions. कोई प्रश्न पूछिए.
हाँ प्रभु जी, प्रश्न है मेरा 2-3 है.
हाँ पूछिए.
सबसे पहले तो जो हम लोग सीरियल्स वगैरह देखते हैं ना भगवान जी के, ढेर सारे आते हैं. मैंने बचपन से ही देख रखे हैं. उसमें तो जैसे ना, और मैंने शिव पुराण वगैरह पढ़ा है, सप्तशती पढ़ी है, तो उसमें दिखाया जाता है कि शिव पुराण में कि शिव जी ही सब कुछ है. सप्तशती में दिखाते माँ दुर्गा ही सब कुछ है, ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश उनके नीचे आते हैं. और ऐसे सीरियल्स में भी दिखाते हैं जिन भगवान जी का या भगवान जी के जिन स्वरूप का सीरियल होता है, उन्हें सब कुछ दिखाया जाता है. तो और अगर पुराणों में ऐसा कहते हैं कि मिसगाइड किया जाता है, तो फिर हम क्या पढ़े, किस चीज को सही माने?
अच्छा प्रश्न है. पहली बात है, पुराणों को टीवी मत देखिएगा. टीवी में पुराणों को देखना वो गलत चीज है, क्योंकि वो टीवी में लोगों को आकर्षण करने के लिए वो पुराणों को तोड़ मोड़ के बताया जाता है. पहली बात. दूसरा, अगर पुराणों को पढ़ना है तो उस पुराणों को खुद पढ़िए, एक अच्छा ट्रांसलेशन लेके पढ़िएगा, और खास करके उससे भी अच्छा है उन पुराणों में जो भी वर्णन हुआ है उसको एक जानकार व्यक्ति के मुख से श्रवण करना ये जरूरी है। क्यों? कारण क्या है? कारण ये है, एक जगह शिव जी का महिमा का वर्णन इतना हुआ, और वही शिव जी क्या कर रहे हैं? भगवान कृष्ण का भजन कर रहे हैं। उस संबंध को देखना होगा। जब हम इस संबंध को देखेंगे पता लगता है इतना महान शिव जी, इतने महान शिव जी जब कृष्ण का भजन करते हैं, राम का भजन करते हैं, तो राम कितना महान होंगे। देवताओं की महिमा को शास्त्रों में इसलिए वर्णन किया गया है ताकि भगवान की महिमा को स्थापना करने के लिए। कभी कभी ऐसा भी होता है, जैसे भगवान रामचंद्र ने शिव जी का लिंग प्रतिष्ठा करके रामेश्वर ने शिव जी का भजन किया या उपासना किया, तो उसके विषय में तो बहुत गहरा तत्व है, उसके विषय में कभी और चर्चा करेंगे, खाली रामेश्वर पे। लेकिन इधर एक बात ऐसा है, भगवान का स्वभाव है, कृष्ण का स्वभाव है, राम का स्वभाव है कि जितना भक्त उनको पूजा करना चाहते हैं उतना ही वो भी भक्त का पूजा करना चाहते हैं। कृष्ण के पास सुदामा पहुंचे, कृष्ण ने सुदामा का चरण को धोए और चरण जल को अपने सर पे धारण किया। क्या इसका अर्थ है कि सुदामा भगवान बन गए? ये भगवान का स्वभाव है। वैसे ही जब रामचंद्र ने शिव जी का पूजा किया, इसका अर्थ ये नहीं कि शिव जी भगवान बन गए और रामचंद्र जो है उनके भक्त नहीं। भगवान का स्वभाव है भक्त का भजन करना चाहते हैं। तो ऐसे ऐसे हर प्रसंग जहां जहां पुराणों में देवी देवताओं का विस्तृत वर्णन आया है उनकी महिमा का, उसको समन्वय करके समझना। अन्य पुराण खास करके भागवत पुराण के संबंध में समझना होगा, क्योंकि 18 पुराणों में भागवत जो है वो सार शिरोमणि है, सर्वश्रेष्ठ है। उनके ही अनुगत्य में सारे पुराणों को समझने की प्रथा हमारे वैदिक सभ्यता में ऐसा है। महापुराण केवल भागवत को कहा गया है, अन्य पुराणों में अन्य पुराणों को महापुराण नहीं कहा गया है। ये तो प्रचलित बात है ही, भागवत कथाएं होती है। कौन सी भागवत कथा है? हाँ, उसको महाभागवत महापुराण कहा गया है। तो भागवत के साथ समन्वय करते हुए अन्य पुराण को समझना चाहिए। जैसे एक व्यक्ति है बहुत शक्तिशाली, इसको वर्णन हुआ है, इतना शक्ति का वर्णन हुआ है, तो अंत में क्या कहा गया है? ये व्यक्ति कौन जानते हो? इस व्यक्ति का शिष्य है। ऐसा ये शिष्य इतना बड़ा है तो वो कितना होगा? हाँ, शिव जी इतने महान है तो जिसका शिव जी भजन करते हो कितना महान होगा? इस बात को स्पष्ट करने के लिए पुराणों में आपको और देवताओं को महिमा प्राप्त होता है। ठीक है, और कोई प्रश्न है?
मेरा एक प्रश्न है। हाँ, आप बोलिए।
आप बोलिए माता जी।
आप पूछ लीजिए फिर मैं पूछ लेती हूँ।
मेरा एक प्रश्न है।
हाँ,
इस जगत में अलग अलग संस्कार के प्राणी हैं।
हाँ,
और वे अलग अलग तरीके से आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान लेने की कोशिश करते हैं।
हाँ,
और वे जो उस ज्ञान का अनुसरण नहीं करते हैं, यदि
हाँ,
ज्ञान का अनुसरण नहीं किया जाए तो ज्ञान का होना बेकार है। सीधी सी बात है।
हाँ।
तो आप बताइए कि उनको किन किन माध्यमों से ज्ञान के अनुसरण पर केंद्रित किया जाए।
आपका तीनों दिन का एक ही प्रकार का प्रश्न है,
नहीं,
लेकिन
डिफरेंट प्रश्न है।
ठीक है सर,
डिफरेंट
वो एक
प्रश्न है।
महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्न है। ज्ञान प्राप्त करना एक चीज होती है, वो ज्ञान के अनुसार अपना व्यवहार अपना जीवन में सुधार लाना और एक चीज है। ज्ञान प्राप्त करने के बाद उसको व्यवहार में लाने के लिए हमको शक्ति की आवश्यकता होती है। वो शक्ति संगति से प्राप्त होती है। जो संगति, संग में बल है, संग में शक्ति है। से साधु संग साधु संग साधु संग सर्वशास्त्र कहे, लवमात्र साधु संग सर्व सिद्धि है। सारे शास्त्र इसी बात को कहता है, साधु संग करो, साधु संग करो, साधु संग करो। जहां आज का प्रश्न का आपका जवाब ये है, ऐसा नहीं कि जीव अपने अपने तरीके से आध्यात्म को ढूंढ रहा है। तरीका एक ही है, उसका प्रमाण एक ही है, वेद। वेद प्रमाण और वेदों का सार है गीता। गीता को छोड़ के मैं आध्यात्मिकवादी बनूंगा, मैं आध्यात्मिक प्रगति करूंगा, ये असंभव है, हो ही नहीं सकता। जो सारे उपनिषदों का सार है भगवत गीता, भगवत गीता नहीं पढ़ता है तो उसकी आध्यात्मिकता के साथ कोई लेन देन नहीं है। भले ही वो अपने आप को विज्ञापन करे, मैं स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट हूं, मैं आध्यात्मिकवादी हूं, नहीं, ना धार्मिक हो सकता है ना आध्यात्मिकवादी हो सकता है गीता के बिना। इसलिए गीता बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चीज है। गीता को पढ़ने से ही उसको ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है। बाकी अन्य आध्यात्मिकता का नाम पे कुछ भी करने जाए वो अज्ञान में ही रहेगा, वो उसका अज्ञान है और अज्ञान में ही रहा है। तो हमने देखा है जो अनेकों अनेकों प्रकार के जो भ्रांतिकर धारणा को आध्यात्मिकता के विषय में धारण किए लोग, जब वो गीता का सही ज्ञान को जब उन्होंने सुना, उसके बाद वो अपने आचरण में स्वतः लाना प्रारंभ कर दिया। गलत चीज का कभी प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन नहीं हो सकता, सही चीज का ही प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन हो सकता है। अनेकों लोगों के मन में आध्यात्मिकता के बारे में गलत ज्ञान है। अगर गलत ज्ञान है तो व्यवहार में कैसे ला सकते हैं भाई? मान लो व्यवहार में ला भी गया तो उसको और नुकसान पहुंचाएगा। इसलिए गीता पढ़ो। जब गीता पढ़ोगे, उस गीता से आपको सही ज्ञान प्राप्त होगा, तो वो प्रैक्टिकल भी है और प्रैक्टिकल बहुत सरल है, सरल है, जिसकी चर्चा हम कल परसों करने वाले हैं। बहुत इजी है। स्पिरिचुअलिटी इज द मोस्ट इजीएस्ट एंड द मोस्ट प्रैक्टिकल थिंग इन दिस वर्ल्ड। लोग उससे डरते हैं। समस्या डरते, किस बात के लिए डरना है? भगवान कृष्ण प्रेम का स्वरूप है और उनसे आप डरते हो, किस बात का डरना है? ये क्यों डरते हैं? क्योंकि आध्यात्म के बारे में बहुत सारे गलत धारणाएं हैं। जब हमारा कोर्स शुरू हुआ था, एक दो लोगों ने कहा था हम रिटायर होने के बाद गीता पढ़े। ये गलत धारणा है, क्योंकि अर्जुन रिटायर होने वाला था, भगवान ने रिटायर करने नहीं दिया गीता में। क्या सोचे लोग, ये गीता पढ़ेंगे रिटायर हो जाएंगे या रिटायर होने के बाद गीता पढ़ेंगे? नहीं, तो ये गलत धारणा है। तो प्राय 99.99% लोग जो अपने आप को आध्यात्मिकवादी समझते हैं, मेरे पास स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज समझते हैं, वो गलत है, गलत धारणा है। अगर सही होता तो प्रैक्टिकल होता और करते भी है। तो आपका जो प्रश्न में लोग अपने ज्ञान होने पर भी क्यों नहीं करते, आप बोलते हो वो अज्ञान में है। सही ज्ञान है कहाँ? अज्ञान में है तो प्रैक्टिकल नहीं है, करने भी जाता है तो होता नहीं है। इसलिए सही ज्ञान का प्रचार करो, सही ज्ञान का आप अवगाहन करो गीता पढ़ के, तो वो प्रैक्टिकल अपने आप होगा।
मेरा प्रश्न है कि उनको कैसे केंद्रित किया जाए? मेरा प्रश्न ये नहीं है कि
उनको केंद्रित तभी किया जाएगा जब, जैसे हमने अभी भगवद गीता कोर्स अभी ले रहे हैं ना, ये बेसिक कोर्स है। हर व्यक्ति को आध्यात्मिकता क्या है, गीता क्या है, वो अच्छी तरीके से समझाने वाला कोर्स है। ये कोर्स जो है वो ऑर्गेनाइज करो, हम लेंगे उन लोगों को, और इस कोर्स का जो वीडियो है लोगों को बताओ, उसके अंदर प्रश्न है तो हम बताओ, हम उनका निराकरण करेंगे। ये इसको प्रचार करो। ये जो कोर्स बना है 6 दिन का, ये इतना सिस्टमैटिक बना हुआ है ताकि एकदम बिल्कुल आध्यात्मिकता क्या है कुछ नहीं मालूम, या कुछ गलत धारणा है मन में, उन सब की निराकरण ये 6 दिन में हो जाता है। ये 100% सत्य है। ये 25 साल से कोर्स चल रहा है, इससे अनेकों लोगों के मन में गलत धारणा निकल गई। तो ये कोर्स कराओ, आपके घर में कराओ, आपके परिवार वालों से कराओ। जो आया आया, नहीं आया नहीं आया, उनका भी एक टाइम आएगा। सब थोड़ी ना एक साथ में 84 लाख योनियों को एक ही दिन में, एक ही सेकंड में उद्धार करना है। हम तो अपना करते रहेंगे। प्रभुपाद जी हमारे गुरु जी अमेरिका गए, जो आए उनको दिया, धीरे धीरे बढ़ता जाएगा। हम तो अपना प्रयास करते रहेंगे। तो ये जो गीता का कोर्स अभी आप अटेंड कर रहे हो, उसको अनेकों लोगों के तक पहुंचाने के लिए प्रयास करो, या इस वीडियो का व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में अपलोड करने के द्वारा, या ऐसे कोर्स अलग अलग आयोजन करने के द्वारा, या ऑनलाइन हो या आपके देश में आपके जगह पे इस कोर्स को आयोजन करो। 100% सत्य है, जो एक कोर्स अटेंड करता है उसको गीता क्या, उसका एकदम क्लियर कट आइडिया पता लग जाता है। भगवान कौन है, मैं कौन हूँ, उनके साथ संबंध क्या है, प्रकृति क्या है, पता लग जाता है। तो ये आप कर रहे हो ना, अलग अलग ग्रुप में ये जो वीडियो भेज रहा हूँ ना, ऐसे हो सकता है। ठीक है, और कोई प्रश्न है?
आपने जो बताया था ना सीरियल से नहीं देखना चाहिए पुराण वगैरह को, तो मैंने शिव महापुराण पढ़ा था मैंने और सप्तशती भी पढ़ी थी, दोनों में वही चीज है। बट
हाँ
तो उसके लिए नहीं, मेरे को कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं है। मुझे कंफ्यूजन एक्चुअली मैं भी कृष्णा डिवोटी हूँ बचपन से हूँ, और मुझे नहीं फर्क पड़ता है कि वो परब्रह्म है कि नहीं है, मुझे वो पसंद है बस है, और हमेशा थे हैं रहेंगे, चाहे उन्हें कोई प्रूव कर दे कि वो भगवान भी नहीं है, ठीक है, मुझे नहीं मतलब है। बट भी किसी को अगर अगर किसी चीज के लिए
हाँ हाँ,
गाइडेंस
वही
देना
बता
चाहिए,
रहा है
लेकिन
आपको,
सही नॉलेज होना चाहिए जी।
वही बता रहा है आपको। जो भी कहता है पूछता है, शिव जी की महिमा कम नहीं, बहुत महिमा महान है। जब इतना महान व्यक्ति क्या कर रहे, राम नाम जप कर रहे हैं, तो राम कितना महान होंगे, उस चीज के लिए शिव जी की महिमा का गुणों का गान हुआ है। ठीक है, ये बताइए आप।
जी
हाँ,
I just wanted to ask one question.
या
We keep
प्लीज।
on chanting about Hare Ram, Hare Krishna.
या
What is the connection between these two?
हाँ, connection between Hare Ram and Hare Krishna, isn't it?
Hare Krishna.
The mantra is like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare refers to Srimati Radharani. Hara plus He. Hara means one who steals. Harna means steals. Churana, Harna. So one who steals the heart of Krishna is Radhe. And she is addressed in Sambodhana Vibhakti, becomes He Hara or Hare. So we are addressing He Radhe, He Krishna, engage me in service of Krishna. And Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. When it comes to Rama, this can refer to any of the four Ramas. Number one is Parushuram. Number two is Ayodhyapati Ram, that is Dasharatha Ram. And it can refer to Balaram, and it can refer to Radhikaraman Ram, is Krishna himself. So now, when you are referring Ram to Parashuram, then the Hare becomes Bhudevi, because energy of Krishna is Radharani. When it comes to Hare Ram, when you think Ram as Parashuram, it becomes Bhudevi. When you address Ram for Dasharatha Nandan Ram, Ayodhyapati Ram, and she becomes Sita. And when it addresses Balaram, it becomes Revati, and Hare becomes Revati. When the Ram refers to Radhika Raman Ram, that is becomes Krishna, then that Hare also becomes Radharani. So we should know Krishna and Ram both are same, one and the same, but different forms. One place Krishna is manifesting the sweetness. Other place the same Krishna as Ram is manifesting Maryada Purushottam. Krishna is Leela Purushottam. So Bhudevi, Sita Devi, Revati, Radharani, they are one energy in different levels of manifestation. And the Supreme Lord Krishna, he also expands into Rama, Narasimha, Vamana, and different forms. So this is the summary of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that we are chanting and praying to Srimati Radharani. Please engage me in service of Krishna.
Thank you, sir.
So any more questions?
जी मुझे पूछना था कि वस्त्रों की क्या इम्पोर्टेंस होती है, जैसे आप लोग ऐसे कलर के ड्रेसेस पहनते हैं, तो या फिर
वस्त्र का क्या महत्व है?
हाँ, अलग अलग तरह के संप्रदाय में अलग अलग तरह के ड्रेसेस रहते हैं कलर के अकॉर्डिंग भी, और उसका इम्पोर्टेंस क्या है?
हाँ, पहले वस्त्र का इम्पोर्टेंस मैं इस हिसाब से बताऊंगा। देखिए, एक मिलिट्री वाला एक वस्त्र पहनता है कि नहीं, तो ये वस्त्र पहनने से उसको ऐसा लगता है कि मुझे मिलिट्री में वो एक भाव आती है, मुझे रक्षा करना है, एक ऐसी भाव आती है। पुलिस वाला ड्रेस पहनता है, यूनिफॉर्म पहनता है, जिसकी वजह से उनको एक भाव आती है। तो वैसे ही हमको आध्यात्मिक प्रगति के लिए हमारा सात्विक ड्रेस होना आवश्यक है, सात्विकता की आवश्यकता होती है। सात्विक ड्रेस क्या है? धोती है, कुर्ता है, कॉटन का है, ये सात्विक है। तो स्त्रियां हैं तो साड़ी हैं, ये सात्विक ड्रेस माना गया। आप महसूस कर सकते हो, आप पैंट शर्ट सूट वूट पहनोगे तो राजसिक भावना आएगी, आप धोती पहनोगे कुर्ता पहनोगे सरल ड्रेस पहनोगे सात्विक भाव आएगी। तो ड्रेस का हमारे जीवन के साथ बहुत गहरा संबंध है। सात्विक माहौल में ही आध्यात्मिक प्रगति हो सकती है। कम से कम सुबह के समय में हमारा जो ऑफिस में जाने के लिए धोती में जाना तो आपके लिए असंभव होगा, धोती पहनो और कुर्ता पहनो या अंग वस्त्र पहनो, तो उससे वो सात्विक माहौल में आपका नाम जप जो है अच्छी तरीके से हो सकता है। अभी आया अलग अलग रंग की बात आई, तो खास करके जो सैफरन है यानी गेरुआ वस्त्र जो है, वो गेरुआ वस्त्र वो सन्यासियों के लिए है जो विवाह नहीं करते, आश्रम में निवास करते उन लोगों के लिए, ताकि लोगों को पता लगे ये गेरुआ वस्त्र पहना है, इसको हम ये सन्यासी हैं, ये आश्रम में निवास करने वाले हैं। और बाकी जो हैं गृहस्थ हैं उनको सफेद है, और माताओं को सफेद नहीं पहनना चाहिए, उनको सात्विक जो साड़ियां हैं और जो भी है उनके चीज है उनको पहनना उनका उचित है। ये वस्त्रों के पीछे एक एक रीति है। और कोई प्रश्न है? ठीक है, अभी समाप्त करेंगे हम। बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर अटेंडिंग टुडे। टुमारो वी विल टॉक अबाउट कर्मा, साइंस ऑफ कर्मा, साइंस ऑफ टाइम एंड प्रकृति kala and karma. What is this world made up of? What is sattva guna, rajoguna, tamaguna, sattva, rajas, tama? All these things we'll discuss tomorrow. Very important session, and remind others, those who are not joined today, to also join. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare.
हरे कृष्ण।